Why were these numbers in September so bad? I'm sure it has something to do with chips.
Absolutely. Chips are the main drag hitting the industry here. We're in a situation where, of course, we've been talking about semiconductors affecting the industry for months. But, I think we've gotten to the point where, the barrel is sort of dry, right, where the inventory levels are so depleted. Early on, the car makers were having trouble keeping their plants open, but they had some inventory to work with, and they've really sort of exhausted quite a bit of the supply on dealer lots, and they're to the point where they're no longer able to sort of rely on the fact that going into this crisis they had some supplies to work with. So we're seeing this really hit companies across the board. Some worse than others. We saw Mercedes with an almost halving of sales in September. Renault has actually been down year to date as of the last couple of months. But this is really a broad-based story where much of the industry is down 20–30% or more.
Good morning, Craig. You're talking about some of the big hits to some of the European automakers there, but EV sales are continuing to grow. What's the kind of story behind that?
I think it's a combination. You do have, real organic demand, but also a situation where these are companies that are prioritizing both their most profitable models and also their models that are going to keep them compliant with very tough rules in the European Union that have been really effective in sort of helping cultivate electric vehicle sales. We saw Europe actually overtake China last year in terms of the amount of sales of electric vehicles. And the rules, last year did sort of cut the industry some slack, where they were able to sort of exclude 5% of their sales in making the calculation of whether or not, they were compliant with the EU's rules. That goes away this year. So they do have to really sort of prioritize those cars in order to meet the rules. And the expectation is that we will broadly see that this year.